Alright guys, Scrappy again today. Hope you're doing well and enjoying your day so far. Shotzzy has challenged Scump to a serious grudge match for their World Championship rings. Scump of course won it in 2017, Shotzzy won one in 2020 in the most recent season in 2024, and of course he won a World Championship in Halo too. Shotzzy therefore wants to complete the collection and challenging Scump, a now retired player, Shotzzy arguably still in his prime, to a 1v1 match across various titles. The winner keeps the champs ring of their opponent. Who's gonna win if this goes through? Very much interested in your thoughts in the comments. Hit the like button if you enjoy. Subscribe if you're new as always. I would greatly appreciate it. Quickly on ranked play, because apparently Ricochet has banned 19,000 accounts. Now, do we believe it? This is the question. The other day, Octane said, my favourite theory is that Ricochet doesn't even exist. And, well, I don't know about that necessarily, but it certainly doesn't work as it should do, right? I mean, every single day I'm seeing clips. I'm even seeing clips of people literally just live streaming their POV. Sometimes with the red boxes up, like surrounding the players, they can see them through the walls. Sometimes without the red boxes, but clearly they know where the other team is, or they're just straight up aimbotting. Like, there's people on TikTok right now streaming with hacks on, and they won't get banned. It's great, isn't it? And the frustrating thing for me is that back in MW19, just a quick tangent here, MW19 didn't even have like a ranked play, but it did have a CDL playlist. There was no ranking in there, but it was 5v5 competitive play on the maps and modes. But honestly, that's all I want to play. I don't really even care about the rank. I just want some way to play competitive COD without all the BS, if you know what I'm saying. Especially because game battles no longer exists. It's just super frustrating for the scene. You know, people just want to go on and play 4 versus 4 search and destroy, 4 versus 4 hardpoint, without, you know, claymores and all this other type of stuff that, you know, UAVs. Get that stuff out of there. They want to be able to play that. Some people, I don't even think they really care if it's ranked or not. They just want the ability to do it. And that's why it's so frustrating, is it's like, you know, we just want to be able to play the game as we want to play it in this, you know, in the CDL modes. But right now it's just not possible because there are cheaters everywhere, certainly as you move up the ranks, and there are certain players that are just blatantly doing so and nothing seems to happen about it. So they say the following: AI systems continue to ramp up with code optimizations to accelerate enforcement. I mean, that sounds like an AI-generated sentence to me. Like, are we serious right now? What are we talking about here? Accelerated enforcement. And, well, is it doing anything? I don't know. Apparently, since Ranked Play launched, 19,000 accounts have been banned, and hourly sweeps to remove cheaters from the Ranked Play mode and leaderboard. So, you know, fair enough. Are they doing this, though? Is this actually what's happening in reality? Because I'm not sure that I really see it. Where is this 19,000 number coming from? You know, where are these cheaters? And Nadeshot doesn't buy it. He straight up doesn't buy it and says, can anyone send me some screenshots of the top 250 leaderboard right now? I'm not at my PC. I want to confirm if this is true or not, because as Nadeshot says, I've literally played the same cheaters on this leaderboard since day one, and everyone is still there, even though it's obvious what they're up to. So it's super frustrating, and as Nadeshot says, this is complete propaganda. 10 names minimum in the first 3 pages. We're legitimately spin-botting live on our streams. How could there possibly be 19,000 accounts banned with the most egregious abusers and giving us the middle finger on the leaderboard? Are we crazy? What is going on? And this is the point, right? If you want to claim there have been 19,000 accounts banned, you've got to at least ban the top accounts that are being seen on the streams, aimbotting, spin-botting, whatever, against the pro players. Like, it's just, you've got to at least try and clean up the top first, because it's very important for the vision of the scene as well. Like, look, I've not even played ranked yet, and why would I bother, given everything I hear and see about it? And to be fair, I've not even got 50 wins in pubs, but you know what I'm saying, right? Watching these streams, hearing everything that's going on, I'm not even going to try and play. If all of a sudden, at least in the top end of ranked, like the top 250, they're getting rid of the cheaters, all of a sudden, you know, the mindset around it starts to change. We saw the other day, Nadeshot said to HyDra, hey, can you hop on and play? And he was like, I'm not going to try and play, there's hackers everywhere. And he's like, yeah, that's true. But if the top 250 was cleaned up of hackers, and they really kept on top of that as much as they possibly could, then it would change the narrative around ranks. And, 19,000 accounts, but none of the top ones that are actually on the stream every day. I don't know. It's a bit of a shambles. As Formal says, made it to top 250. By far the weirdest, most psychotic grind I've been a part of against all the cheaters. I pray all of you that are currently hacking in ranked find what you're looking for. Truly, I'm so interested in the lore of some of these guys. And unfortunately, you can't just go to console to play because crossplay isn't available. What you can do is, go and play in a lower rank. I mean, effectively, that is the conclusion for many pros now, is to say, right, well, I'll just have a new account or something, or I'll play in gold, or I don't know, because obviously the cheaters, once they start to cheat, they're going to go up the ranks quite quickly. So if you're a lower player, you actually can get away with it and probably play games without cheaters in most of the time anyway. So that's a solution basically to just smurf for the top pro players. So it is really just a shambles. Obviously Scrap made it to the top 250, so congrats to him as well. And he scrolls down to find his name. There he is. And obviously he wasn't so happy with the photograph they gave him. I'll share that clip for you guys in a couple of seconds. iLLeY was playing another tournament. I think it's just kind of cool to see that iLLeY's, grinding every single day at this point and looking for, return to the CDL at some point this season. This was interesting as well. Donny Tempers effectively stepped away from competing in competitive Call of Duty. He's at college this year, I believe. I did wonder whether he was going to do college COD, but after last year in Challengers, Temps decided, I think, to at least take some time away. But he did say this yesterday. Coach Temp 1-0, obviously with Hook, Sparks, Cap, and Proluk winning the tournament. So I'm not really sure if Temp's been getting involved there. Of course, he knows a few of these guys relatively well. And, it would be interesting to see if Donny Temp was effectively going to coach that team on some level. So, I don't know. What do you guys think about this? Just saw the tweet floating around. Thought I'd mention it. Speaking of Donny Temp, that he actually did used to play for the Subliners back in the day. Back in MW19 anyway. They won that Subliners home grounds with Temp on the roster. And that franchise is now gone. So these are the overall kind of numbers for the Subliners as a franchise. I thought it was kind of nice to look at, actually, just to see 33 tournaments. They played an average placing of about 5th, series win-loss in the 54% range, 9 finals appearances, 5 tournament wins, and of course won the World Championship in 23, came runner-up this season. So yeah, look at all these other players and names. Here's Donny, Accuracy, Attach, Zoomer, of course, Mack when we went into the Cold War days. Yeah, Zero was there as well during MW19 rather briefly. Clay, of course, Asim, DiamondCon, Decimate. Wow, that was a wild timeline when he was on that roster very briefly. And then, of course, they had the Vanguard team when Kremp was there, and Neptune and Royalty, and then, of course, Paul X and Priestahh before they then had the current team. This, though, is Cloud9, so we did make a Cloud9 franchise card as well. They've played a grand total of 1 tournament so far, and, average placing of top 8 at the World Cup. Series were lost 2-1, prize money earned. So, yeah, a long road ahead for them. But I wanted to talk about this kind of, challenge that Shotzzy puts out to none other than the king in King Scumpy. So Shotzzy is now a 3-time world champion. Halo in 2018, Halo 5, 2020, Call of Duty Modern Warfare, 2019, right? The remastered one, basically. It wasn't really remastered, though, it was worse. And then 2024, of course, this season on Modern Warfare 3 with OpTic Texas. Now, Scump has 1 world championship ring, but of course, in terms of his whole career, what Scump achieved, what he did for competitive Call of Duty, it's not just about the singular ring that Scump won, but also it was the crowning achievement of Scump's career. So Shotzzy says, look, how about I chal Scump and the winner gets the other's champs ring? Now, I'm not exactly sure which champs ring Shotzzy would give away, or whether he'd give away all of them, but maybe Scump would have to basically have that wager in order to accept this type of challenge, because at the end of the day, Scump could still do it. If Scump came back to the CDL, he'd still be a top player. There's no doubt about that in my mind. However, Scump has been retired for a couple of years. Shotzzy is in his prime or whatever, and he's still playing some great Call of Duty and literally won champs last year and was OpTic's best player, I would say, over the course of the entire season. And maybe that's going to be the same story again. As we said the other day, in some ways, Shotzzy is the new Scump. I don't really want to say that, but if there's anyone who is the new generation Scump, it is Shotzzy, right? Like, he is that to OpTic in many respects. Now, this would be very entertaining. Obviously, incredibly talented players in their own right, with different strengths, I would say. That's why they were a good SMG duo when they played with each other a few years ago, and they gave each other very high praise during that Vanguard start of Modern Warfare 2 period when they did play on the same roster as an SMG duo, because Scump is more of a positional, slaying SMG, and Shotzzy's a very fast-paced movement, making space SMG for the rest of the teams. They worked well together. Who would win, however, if they played against each other? And it would depend on what games they'd be playing.
How many views would this get? Scump versus Shotzzy for a ring. So if he wins, he gets my champs ring. And if I win, I get his champs ring.
Holy shit. On what game?
Yeah, we do all 3 games that we won in. So we would do MW 2019, and then we do last year, MW3, and then we'd also do MW. I'll get ran in MW.
Cool.
Or AW, MW.
AW?
Or yeah. Oh my god,
Why would you get ran? I mean, he was lucky nice as shit. And you haven't played it, huh?
Well, I've never I've never played it. I mean, I've played it, but
once you get used to it, though, you'd be vibing. But if it's just like straight raw, yeah.
Yeah, straight raw, no reps, nothing.
Yeah,
that actually be
that's
fun.
gonna be a tough one.
All right. We're top 250, Daniel. What picture are they going to use? Because I have no picture in a Thieves jersey. And that's me!
Surviving player top 250, yeah, it was.
Oh, it has his Toronto. It has his Toronto player card.
It's just Toronto, though.
I mean, like, this is the worst picture ever, bro.
You're gonna send the one with your profile picture. I already know. You're gonna ask them.
Bro, I just took new pictures today.
So I think the argument that Shotzzy's making there is to play the 3 games that they won in. So they would play on Infinite Warfare, a game that I don't really think Shotzzy's ever really played. Obviously, Scump did with, you know, the NV4, obviously was the AR in that game, the K-Bar. Scump often used the E-Rants towards the end of the game as well to great effect. And, you know, what would you play? Would it be a sniper 1v1? Would it just be a straight up, you know, 1v1 search and destroy chow? Do you play some free-for-alls in there? Like, Scump's going to be favored on the game that he won. The most recent title, MW3, Scump hasn't even played. Shotzzy was phenomenal on this year's game, and given the way that the game plays, there were loads of like spots and movement things that would be worth keeping in mind that Scump would have to worry about, I would say. But at the end of the day, they are also the old school Modern Warfare 2 maps largely, which Scump has also played back in the day as well, even though he didn't play it competitively the most recent season. Then I guess it would come down to MW. If you played Halo, obviously Shotzzy's going to win that as well. But yeah, MW 2019, a 1v1 between Scump and Shotzzy. Tough to say. Both played that game. Both are very good at that game. Shotzzy technically won the MVP that season on the Dallas Empire, but Scump was also great on Chicago Huntsman that season. So I think either way, it's going to be a tough one to call. The reality is, will Scump accept this type of challenge? I don't really think there's much to go for it. And the reality is, you know, if someone actually did win this wager, is Shotzzy really going to say, all right, Scump, that's now my rig and it's staying with me? You know what I'm saying? So I think it might be a fun little thing to do for content anyway, just because these two guys, 2 generations of OpTic top SMGs and content creators in the same way, played with each other for a season, and now, you know, Scump kind of moves on and Shotzzy's come through for the full time. I think it's kind of a nice story, and the more Scump Shotzzy content we get, I would say the better. But intrigued to your thoughts in the comment section below as always. Kenny giving his perspective on the GA drama as well over the last couple of days, but very much intrigued to your thoughts in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed, subscribe if you're new, take care, and I'll see you next time.
Boys, I just played the #1 ranked player in Black Ops 6 ranked play. Check out some of these clips. Nah, this shit's got... No wonder he's #1. This shit is unreal. Oh my god, bro.